Hello everyone, today is December 15th, 2025, and this is the weekly market review. Let's start by answering a question from a viewer under the previous video. Thank you for the information. In your opinion, in which month of 2026 will the lowest price for Bitcoin be recorded? And also, what is your opinion about Solana? First, when will the lowest value be? Based on this publication, which says that everything is cyclical, the understanding is that it will be September, October, or November. September or November 2026, right here. Regarding Solana, the latest news is that Coinbase will allow it, but they want to create some kind of decentralized platform where it will be possible to trade all tokens on the Solana network. First, only American citizens can trade on Coinbase, and second, they just want to anonymize everything. Well, so that American citizens still trade on certain platforms, so that everything is visible, everything is transparent, but otherwise, not quite. Next, the analysis on Solana. I expect it to be in the range of 80 to 60,000, double-digit numbers. So the fundamental question that truly arises is whether many of these particular assets that have significantly dropped in value will ever genuinely come back to life at all. You know, this specific situation is consistently the case in virtually all financial markets. That's the situation. If there's no energy there, in fact, there's a rule. Money truly flows where there is significant energy. Most crypto assets in their current state have absolutely no inherent energy, but that's not just a phenomenon observed exclusively in crypto. If you look at stocks on the same stock market, even in the United States, most of the stocks there are dead. In other words, nobody needs them. Just like, for example, GameStop was at one time. People were just shorting it, that's all. The company was selling CDs. But that's a completely different story, and what happened there happened. That's why I don't believe that many of those coins will make it. Altseason is a scam. We've established that, I've established that, and our community has established that as well. And I was actually asked to publish analysis only on Bitcoin. So why didn't you make an announcement? I recently joined the live stream, but I must clarify that this isn't actually a live stream at all. It's a pre-recorded session. I diligently conduct these insightful little market reviews every single week, so please enjoy. Alright, but the market minimum, which is $60,000, is actually between $38,000 and $47,000. I don't rule out the possibility that we could even drop to those levels, but I want to be more conservative, so a 50% drop is acceptable to me. Beyond that, well, you have to try to catch, as they say, falling knives. So, thank you very much for the comprehensive answer regarding AVAX, SUI, and Link. Alright, let's now get back to our main discussion. Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency. Well, you see, this is the situation that's happening here. And basically, that's completely normal. But here, we clearly have a significant mirror level that we absolutely need to go below. And essentially, nothing substantial has changed here. We have experienced some kind of minor correction and then a subsequent sharp drop. What I had initially thought that we would experience a sharp fall in December, well, most likely that was just my own personal wishful thinking, nothing more. But still, anything can happen. For now, I'm out of the market, out of any positions, and I'm expecting further decline. So let's go over what I posted in the last 3 days. Here are answers to subscribers' questions and some trading. Here's a very interesting post about how much Bitcoin actually costs and what its production cost is. So, to mine Bitcoin, how much does it actually cost? There are two components in mining. First, the cost of electricity. The second is the equipment used for mining. It's an exceptionally lengthy post with a detailed breakdown of precisely what the overall production cost entails at different price points and various other related factors. The point is, if we reduce it to a minimum, we have a mark at 75.70. This is already the beginning of capitulation for most miners, and it acts as our magnet. And most likely somewhere in this range, around 60, that's probably where the real bottom will be. So this is yet another confirmation. Here everything is written, yet another confirmation of my theory. Also, let's touch on the fact that most influential people, industry leaders, funds, and so on, made predictions for 2025, and most of them turned out to be wrong. It's very simple. When you own an asset, you believe in its bright future. You become attached to it. You could even say they become fans automatically. And that's exactly the situation here. It's more about what they want, their wishful thinking, rather than a cold analysis. So, by the way, if we look here, there's Galaxy and MicroStrategy. And what isn't here? So that's the complete story. On October 10th, when we experienced a truly historic and unprecedented drop of a staggering $20,000, all within a single day's trading. This prominent company, known as MSCI World, they are indeed leading global index providers. They have explicitly stated that those companies with more than 50% of their total balance sheet invested in any investment in cryptocurrency will be completely excluded from these significant indices, and that's most likely the primary and most influential factor. Why exactly did we suddenly start to experience a noticeable fall at that precise moment in time on this particular list? There are numerous well-known funds that virtually everyone is already quite familiar with. These are MicroStrategy, Galaxy, Block, and others. And this particular situation will inevitably lead to a significant outcome. A significant and substantial increase in overall sales figures. And literally, on the 15th day of January in the year 2026, it will be officially announced here whether they will actually proceed to exclude them or not, a decision that is eagerly awaited. And if they do, that will be a global redistribution of Bitcoin into other hands. Obviously, not into our own portfolios, but BlackRock, at the very least, will inevitably take a very significant and substantial portion of these valuable Bitcoins from MicroStrategy and other similar entities, and so on, in the foreseeable future. Well, basically, that's precisely what I truly wanted to convey and articulate. We also prominently feature our dedicated Twitter section right here. Previously, we experienced significant and exciting growth, with everyone enthusiastically drawing rockets, and now, when I meticulously check, it's already looking quite different, like this, in its current state. And the person is gaining an audience, which is great. So there are no questions about that. It's just that These are just shill posts, but that's a fact, and a lot of people watch them. So, and here's a truly interesting, quite fascinating post. I honestly don't know exactly how I stumbled upon it or saw it, but I most certainly did see that. Things in that scenario certainly won't be so incredibly great. So what's next for us? Where exactly is CoinGecko right now? Is this really for you? At the end? Most likely, probably not. So let's use some truly proper tool, one that actually exists and is available. Let's take a look at gold after this significant kind of price correction. Here we have this super formation, which is essentially this particular kind of formation. Oh, the ones that typically break upwards with considerable momentum. And basically, the primary targets are still precisely the same for us, starting from a substantial $6,000. And in general, during these periods of economic instability, many discerning investors often seek a secure and reliable safe haven for their valuable investments, which is typically gold. If we look at, well, the continuation of the movement. If we take a look at silver as well, basically, it's steadily catching up, gradually catching up to gold, demonstrating significant progress and showing a strong competitive performance in the market. For those who've been following me for a long time, well, I've been into silver. You'll see it here. I bought physical silver, and it only did an X2. Wait, here, right here, right here. Somewhere around here, I actually bought it, and now it's up 300%, but Bitcoin is better. Bitcoin is better than silver. And let's just say, moving on now, what else do we actually have here to consider and explore further? We have, for example, crude oil and other resources. Things like this are most likely breaking downwards like this. So we still have a significant downtrend, without any clear or definitive bottom forming just yet, not even remotely close at this particular moment. Perhaps somewhere around this particular location, maybe during the late hours of the night, or even right here in this very spot at this moment. And only after that will we start to turn around. Next, what else do we have? This all follows gold. For now, it's following, and most likely this liquidity will be taken out. Regarding the popular cryptocurrency Ethereum specifically. Well, it's basically the same as the rest of the market, but it does look a bit more lively than anything else. As I have indeed already mentioned, precisely here we have a magnet that we will have to overcome, but most likely only after January. After January, it will be interesting to see what happens with Ethereum at all. So this is the number 2 cryptocurrency, that's already a fact. The fact that it's not very technological, it's slow, and all that, nobody really cares. There's no point in talking about it. Bitcoin is even less advanced technologically, but the fact remains, so we will do it, but I would like to see a breakout. Of course, this liquidity around 2000. That would be interesting to me. 3000, no. 2800, No. 2,600? No. 1,900? Now that I like, but most likely, I mean. We'll see. We'll see. The limit orders are already set. They're waiting in the web group. By the way, everyone who registers and actively trades on Bybit using my referral link, which is below in the description, all of those people will be in my web group where I share my thoughts, my trades, and so on, with entry points, exits, stop losses, and so forth. Right now, maybe I'm not trading as actively, but we had an oil short literally just last week. So there is still active movement happening. Alright, I think that's all for now. It was great to see you. Goodbye, everyone. Leave your questions in the comments. I'll answer all of them. Bye bye.